Tírate. Tírate.
No, it's not Miami Vice, it's Los Angeles Vice. In the drug dealer thriller 8 Million Ways to Die, starring Jeff Bridges and Rosanna Arquette. One of 4 new movies we're reviewing this week on At the Movies, the movie review program. I'm Gene Siskel, film critic of the Chicago Tribune.
And I'm Roger Ebert, film critic of the Chicago Sun-Times. In addition to 8 Million Ways to Die, also on this show, we're going to be reviewing Echo Park, a slice of life from one of the strangest neighborhoods in Los Angeles, which has a lot of strange neighborhoods. Also, The Quiet Earth, about a scientific experiment that goes real wrong. So wrong that almost every living thing simply disappears. But first, Gene starts with a new comedy named Offbeat.
Offbeat, when it is offbeat, it's kind of fun, which is about half the picture. Then the beat becomes familiar, the sight gags of policemen dancing becomes familiar, and the standard action picture finale that we get at the end, all too familiar. Definitely a mixed review here. Judge Reinhold from Beverly Hills Cop stars as a friend of a cop and winds up being roped into impersonating his friend, who's been asked to take part in a police dance troupe as part of a community public affairs project. At first, some of the real cops are suspicious of this new guy, and that has his friend worried.
I've been watching you. Cops don't dance in subways. You know what I got on my ass?
Hair?
Saddle sores.
Hey, I gotta get to rehearsal. What's your point?
The word is out that an A. Washington from the 2-2 precinct has been shooting off his mouth about cops ratting on other cops. You follow me?
Yeah, look, that's just a little misunderstanding. Don't worry about it.
A little misunderstanding? I could lose my job, my pension. We could both end up in jail. I got everything under control, pal. Don't worry about it.
Well, that's nothing special. More enjoyable is the love story that develops between Judge Reinhold and police officer Meg Tilly.
They must say, hey, we're not doing this unless Zeke Washington's in on it.
So you figure you're gonna nail some lady cops?
Nail some lady cops?
I figure that's why most of you guys got in on this. Oh, come on, Washington. Just for the hell of it, let's talk straight to each other.
Okay.
All right.
That's not at all why I got into this. Now that I'm here, though, I have to admit, there is one lady cop that I'd like very much to nail. She scares the hell out of me.
Don't let her scare you.
She'd have dinner with me.
Ask her.
Would you have dinner with me?
Yeah.
They're nice together. I wish they had more scenes together. Now, you can get into a lot of tough scrapes when you're an imposter wearing a police uniform on the streets of New York, as he is. But the film concludes with a routine would-be comic action scene where Reinhold is taken hostage when he finds himself in the middle of a bank robbery.
I tell you what, I'm not dying without going in front of an audience one time. Everybody watch this.
Excuse me, but, what are you doing, Washington? What the hell's he doing, Mickey? All right, that's enough of that. Get out the door, Leon. Make him stop dancing. I hate that. You gonna stop that, Washington, or what?
How about some accompaniment?
Cut it out.
Wait, here's the big finish.
Cut it! Mickey, wait! I love that song. With yellow feathers in her hair and a dress cut down to there, she was letting get. And do the jolly on. We robbed the bank, or what? Go ahead. Keep an eye on the door, will you?
Try it, Leon.
Now, when Tilly and Reinhold are together, as you can see in that one scene in the little restaurant, Offbeat is on the mark. Tilly is incandescent, Reinhold likable. I I just got tired after a while of all the cop dancing material we get during the middle of this movie. And the final action sequence, because I thought it was so predictable that we were going to get one, bored me to tears. So, two appealing actors in a script that, for me, runs out of gas.
I think we're in disagreement on this movie. I liked it a whole lot. I liked both the comedy and the relationship. And you kind of give the impression that Meg Tilly and Judge Reinhold don't have a lot of scenes together. They have 4 or 5 really nice scenes, including the dinner scene.
Well, there's
where
one
they
nice
drink
one.
wine and dance with each other.
There's one nice one on the stairs. They have a kiss.
Yeah.
It is actually sweet and lovely.
This is a great relationship between the two of them. The final action scene, I don't know. It wasn't predictable to me because it wasn't really an action scene. It was a character scene. You have that great actor, Harvey Keitel, and his partner there.
Yeah.
He's got the rabbit's foot hanging from his revolver. His partner is requesting tunes from the organist in the bank lobby. I thought it was offbeat.
We know that that's going to lead up to that, or at least we don't know that it's going to lead up to it. We actually hope that it will lead up to a sweet scene between the two of them. Unfortunately, it leads up to that big action scene because that's the detail that she works on, so we're going to get that kind of thing. Plus, didn't you think all the dancing material in the middle could have been cut down just a little bit?
Not really, because
and I'll
tell you why not. Because I like the fact that these tough macho cops are trying to get along with the less than macho dance instructor, and I enjoyed
got that for
too.
30 seconds, and it went on for minutes and minutes and minutes and minutes.
I thought it was a pleasant movie, and I enjoyed it. Next at the movies, the tale of a would-be actress and the pizza delivery man in modern Los Angeles.
You're easy to please.
What do you mean, does an experienced leading lady live here? Wait. What are you talking about? Don't you know how to make an obscene phone call? It's simple. You breathe. You go, ha, ha, ha.
Our next movie is named Echo Park, and that's the name of a funky Los Angeles neighborhood where life is a struggle, but not a very hard one. The movie involves the people who live in an offbeat boarding house. For example, there's the weightlifter from Austria who dreams of being another Arnold Schwarzenegger. And there's the waitress who dreams of being an actress. And then one day, she rents a room to a pizza delivery man who has his dreams too. He dreams of someday being her lover. The pizza man is played by Tom Hulce, who last starred in Amadeus. And here he is taking the woman's young son along on a delivery run.
I think I know a secret about you, Henry. Yep. I think I do. I only just realized it, too. I think you hate your name. Nobody in their right mind would want to be called Henry. You know what's a good name for Henry? Hank. Every once in a while, there is a Henry called Hank. So hop in, Hank. So we gotta go now. Pick it up. Got it?
Meanwhile, the woman, played by Susan Day, goes to an audition which turns out to be for Happy Birthday Stripograms.
Can improvise or quick on their feet, graceful and daring with their bodies. The well-rounded actor or actress is what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about the stars of the future.
Well, at least it's showbiz.
What's that?
I said at least it's showbiz. It's performing, which is more than I can say for bartending. I mean, Marilyn Monroe started out naked, didn't she?
Everybody in the world starts out naked, sugar. So come on. Who's going to be the first audition? I need a volunteer. You. Yeah, you, Big Mouth. Come on. You ever stripped before?
No.
What a surprise. You know how to take off your clothes?
Yes.
Same thing. You're on. Come on, this is your audience. Go.
Could you hold this for me?
Oh, great. The world's first 4-hour strip.
I like the head of the Stripogram company there, played by an actor named John Paragon. In fact, I thought all of the performances in Echo Park were very particular, very individual. This is one of those films that's more interested in reflecting how the filmmakers see their city than it is in becoming some sort of universal mass entertainment. Echo Park is a pleasant, if sometimes lightweight film that somehow manages to contain a lot of the things I've always felt when I've been to Los Angeles. The sense, for example, that everybody is from somewhere else and that they've got a little anxiety about proving themselves and that they're all into an incredible variety of programs to make the body and the mind perfect and that they all really do believe they're going to make it big someday. After all, when you look at some of the people who do make it big in the movies, why can't everybody?
Well, I think I like the film even more than you, and I recognize that you like it. I think it's terrific at doing just the things that you said, which is capturing the flavor of the city without a lot of the hatred and easy jokes that are poked at L.A. by the people that write in L.A. We've seen Down and Out in Beverly Hills, which I admire, but it's, you know, making a mockery of L.A. L.A. is an easy target. 8 Million Ways to Die is a film that hates L.A., another film that we're going to be talking about. This picture is in love with the people and their aspirations. This film feels lifelike. These characters are just raised a little bit extra from normalcy, and they're delightful. And I did live a year in L.A., and this is the type of people that you find in L.A. in that kind of neighborhood.
Well,
it's a dead-on film. I enjoyed it. And I like Susan Day, who used to be on TV. I think it's a terrific film.
Okay, I'll add Tom Hulse, who I think was wise to take this movie because it's the total opposite side of the coin from Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, and so it shows something else that he can do. Coming up next, sort of a West Coast Scarface with Jeff Bridges cracking a vicious drug dealer.
You gonna shut up? Shut up!
Our next film, 8 Million Ways to Die, seems to be a picture inspired by the hit TV series Miami Vice, and maybe the financially successful drug bust thriller Scarface. But all that this movie really is a cop and a drug dealer standing toe-to-toe and screaming at each other in a way that glamorizes the sleazy drug traffic. Jeff Bridges, normally one of our finest actors, plays a cop kicked off the sheriff's force after using too much violence. But he's drawn back into the police business after falling for a friend of that drug dealer, a hooker who the dealer has murdered. Now here, later, Bridges tries to warn her friend, another hooker, at a party thrown by the dealer.
Take you later?
I bet you will.
Sarah.
Now what?
That's what I want to tell you.
Look, I do not want to talk to you anymore.
Oye, Sara, ¿se puede con el tipo ese? Para afuera. Quédate con el billete.
Cuidado.
Tranquilo, hermano, ¿qué pasa?
You gonna shut up? Shut up!
Sara! What's going on, baby?
Look, before you open your mouth, you're gonna be talking to Sonny's killer. It was Maldonado. What the f*** are you talking about? She was gonna talk. Even if you don't believe me, you gotta believe he's capable of doing it. Now answer him. Go on, answer.
Give me a break, Angel. I've been working all night. We'll be back in a while.
That was Andy Garcia as the dealer with the ponytail and Rosanna Arquette as the blonde hooker. Her relationship with Bridges, which should be a strong part of this film, isn't very real or isn't very explored very much. And that's a shame because Arquette and Bridges can really be compelling on film, especially when you compare this film with something really exciting like Jeff Bridges combating another drug dealer and another dealer's girlfriend in his film Against All Odds. When you look at those two films together, 8 Million Ways to Die and Against All Odds, you see that 8 Million Ways to Die is mostly flash and trash, and I repeat, a lot of toe-to-toe screaming between Bridges and the Dope King to the point that you almost want to laugh at them. It has a great shootout at the end, but that's it. As a film, it's a loser.
I'm in agreement with everything you said, and there's another aspect I'd like to get into. In the film, Jeff Bridges is portrayed as a recovering alcoholic. At the beginning of the movie, he goes to an AA meeting, then he has a relapse, then he makes his comeback, and at the end of the movie, he's giving a speech at yet another AA meeting. Now, it seemed to me that either they should have dealt with this subject or they should have left it out of the movie altogether because it's so uneasily and awkwardly introduced that it always seems to be totally out of left field. It has nothing really to do with his character except in the scenes where he's doing it.
And you know what I thought they were doing? What? Because you know this film glamorizes the drug trade.
That's right.
All right. The drug trade is not this glamorous. It's very, very rough.
That's
okay?
right.
And you know, and you probably laughed at all the toe-to-toe screaming. So you know what I thought they did? They wanted to have their cake and eat it too. They wanted to have all this glamorization of the drug trade, and then, to protect themselves, bring in the AA meetings, use the honorable organization AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, and use it to justify this other stuff, because the stuff has, AA meetings have nothing to do with this picture. This is Scarface badly done.
I thought it would have been fascinating if they had really made a movie about a guy who's trying to battle with his own problems, battle with these other guys, but not arbitrarily, not gratuitously. Next at the movies, The Quiet Earth, about the last survivors of a scientific catastrophe.
I get the feeling
Our next movie is named The Quiet Earth, and this is a quiet film from New Zealand that has opened slowly around the country and built some loyal audiences. It's having long runs in some cities. The movie begins in New Zealand on the day after a worldwide scientific experiment led, of course, by the Americans. The experiment is supposed to surround the planet with a massive grid of energy that airplanes can fly through instead of using gasoline. But something has gone very terribly wrong, and it looks as if the experiment has made almost every single living creature simply disappear. As the movie opens, the only survivor is one of the scientists, played by Bruno Lawrence.
My name is Zach Hobson. If there is anybody out there at all, could you please contact me at home, 2 Thurston Avenue, Grey Lynn, or ring me on 396-121. Hello. My name is Zach Hobson. If there is anybody out there at all, could you please contact me at home, 2 Thurston Avenue, Grey Lynn, or ring me on 396-121.
When he realizes he's truly alone, the last survivor goes a little crazy, looting shopping centers and going on a materialistic spending binge. Then he discovers another survivor, a woman, and he's deliriously happy to have someone to talk to.
Don't know. It was an American idea. They were experimenting with energy transmissions through a grid surrounding the Earth. Aircraft drawing directly from that grid, so they wouldn't have to refuel. That sort of thing.
Of course. An exclusive all-male club playing God with the universe.
We were just one small unit in a whole network of stations around the world, acting simultaneously. Besides, we might not have been responsible. God may have just blinked.
God blinked and the whole world disappeared. A world of noisy, brawling, wonderful human beings.
Later, one more survivor turns up, another man, and they form a sort of love triangle. And in that respect, this movie's sort of like The World of Flesh and the Devil from the 1950s. But it has another dimension, too, because the hero begins to wonder what really happened. Did all the living beings really disappear, or did the world that he sees and experiences sort of shift sideways into another dimension of space and time and leave everybody else behind? The Quiet Earth has a lot more questions that it asks, too, and doesn't answer, but that's one of its charms. And the last shot of this movie presents us with a vast, visionary idea that we can argue about on our way out of the theater.
The last shot is quite
It's great, isn't
It's
it?
a great shot. Now, when I go into a picture where it's one of these last man on Earth pictures, you know what I always hope?
What?
That it really is the last man on Earth. And I wish they would make that story, because I think that would be a fabulous story. Invariably, they do meet somebody else.
They always meet two other people, a woman and another man. Have you ever noticed that?
Yes, I have noticed that.
Very strange.
Very strange, very predictable. Now, she gives a very sweet speech there at the end.
Yes, she does.
He gives a rather boring speech. I have a mixed review to this. I like it because for a long time I thought he was going to be the only man on Earth. That makes me contemplate lots of things. And I like the ending of the picture, which makes me contemplate lots of important things. The other two people in the picture, I could easily do without. So I don't like it quite as much as you, but I still like it. Still like it.
Okay.
Now to recap our reactions to the films on the show, we split on the romantic comedy Offbeat with Roger falling in love with the movie and Meg Tilly. I like her too, but I found the film repetitive. 1 thumb up, 1 down. We agreed on Echo Park. I think I even liked it more than Roger. It's a whimsical, truly offbeat story of a bunch of strange but nice people all living in the same LA apartment building trying to make it through life. 2 negative reactions to the overblown drug bust film, 8 Million Ways to Die, starring the usually reliable Jeff Bridges and Rosanna Arquette. There's a lot more yelling here than a script. And both Roger and I like the end of the world drama, The Quiet Earth. Roger liking a little bit more than me, but still 2 thumbs up.
So a lot of enthusiasm for Echo Park.
Yeah.
A little less enthusiasm, but still enthusiasm for The Quiet Earth.
Yeah, at the beginning and the end.
And then I liked Offbeat. I think it's the best movie on the show as far as I'm concerned. What do you think?
Echo Park is the best film on the show.
Okay.
Echo Park has characters that are real, that we'll cherish. It reminded me of a film called Stay Hungry, which also had the real Arnold Schwarzenegger
That's
in it,
right.
and Sally Field roaming around with some weird ball characters. That would make a great double bill for renting or watching Echo Park and Stay Hungry. I think Stay Hungry inspired Echo Park, and that's a big compliment
Well,
to
you
Echo
kind of
Park.
got off the subject a little bit. I would just like to remind people again that Offbeat is also worth seeing as far as I'm concerned, and that is it for this week.
The subject.
Next week, we are going to be back with a new show, an altogether new show of 8 new video cassettes that we think have been overlooked and that you might enjoy seeing, and that'll be called At the Cassette Store Part 3. And until then, we'll see you at the movies.
Nestle Crunch. It's creamy milk chocolate and crispy crunchies. Chocolate is scrunches when it crunches. That's why you'll love Nestle Crunch. Glade Fresh. Make your home a fresher place to be with 13 natural scents, including Highland Blossom and April Meadows. Jovan Musk Evening Edition for men, for women. A totally new kind of musk. Sophisticated, subtle, yet sexy.
Tonight at 8, Oscar winner Geraldine Page and Donald Sutherland star in The Day of the Locust, a story of Hollywood in its heyday, the flash and glitter that made Tinseltown a place where dreams were born and broken. Tonight at 8 on Channel 11.